Hello everyone, this is your video for the evening of August 25th and the weekend of August 25th. We have just a few more little pieces to cover before we do our review on Tuesday for our test on Thursday. Make sure that you write down everything that you see on your paper, on this paper. You want to make sure that you write down the letters, the numbers, the degree symbols, the arrows. As you're doing this video, I'm having you practice reading angles. I'm having you practice drawing the images correctly. So make sure that you're doing that as you're taking the video. The question I have here is, what's the measure of angle D? Angle D is part of a straight line. How many degrees are there in a straight line? When we look at our protractor, we know that if we go in a straight line, we go from 0 all the way around, we wind up at 180 degrees. So a straight line has 180 degrees. I would say angle D plus 21 is equal to 180 degrees. The reason I'm saying plus is because I need to put these two angles together to add up to 180 degrees. Now I'll do some algebra. I'll subtract 21 from both sides. D, borrow, is 159 degrees. If these two angles add up to 180 degrees, are they complementary or supplementary? You are correct. The answer is supplementary. If you said complementary, that's okay. You're never going to make that mistake again. 180 degrees is supplementary. Let's look at our second example. We have 50 degrees and H and this symbol here. What does this symbol mean? It means that your angle is, the whole angle is equal to 90 degrees. So what will I do with H and 50 so that I'm close to 90, so that I equal 90 degrees? I will add these together. Angle H plus 50 degrees equals 90 degrees. I bet you know what angle H is already. Subtract 50 from both sides, and angle H is equal to 40 degrees. If these two angles add up to 90 degrees, are they complementary or supplementary? They are complementary. There's a couple ways to remember the difference between complementary and supplementary. C comes before S in the alphabet, and 90 comes before 180 on a number line. Or C is half of an S. If I put two C's together, I get an S. So 90 and 2 times 90, you have your complementary and your supplementary. So that's two ways you can remember the difference between complementary and supplementary. Let's look at our next example. Name the angle on the left. What is, and it's not 2x minus 1. What's the name of the angle on the left? Angle HPM or angle MPH is the angle on the left. Name the angle on the right. Angle MPW or WPM. I'm looking at what I have. I have two angles. They're side by side on a straight line. If I have two angles side by side on a straight line, where does that get me numerically? To what value will these add up to? If you said 180 degrees, you are correct, because it makes a straight line, and as we mentioned before, On a protractor, a straight line is 180 degrees. I'm going to combine these. 2x plus 3x is 5x. 6 minus 1 is 5. Why is it plus 5 and not minus 5? It's because the 6 is positive and it is the larger number. Now I'll do my algebra again. Subtract 5 from both sides. What do I do with this 5? It's touching the x. How do I get rid of it? You divide by 5. So the value of x, let's see, 5 goes into 17 3 times, and there's 25 left over, so 35 degrees. X is 35 degrees. If x is 35 degrees, how big is angle HPM? Go ahead and pause the video and give that a try. If you said angle HPM is 70 degrees, you are close but not quite. So I'm going to go 2 times 35, because that's what x is. 2 times 35 is 70, but then I must subtract 1. This is 69 degrees. What's the measure of angle MPW? 35 times 3. See, I don't know that off the top of my head. Let's see. 5 times 3 is 5, carry the 1, so it's 105. Plus 6, that makes 111 degrees. I know some of you are sitting there going, Miss Meyer, you didn't have to do the substitution. There was a faster way to get this done. You're correct. If the whole line together is equal to 180 degrees, and I know I have 69 over here, then I can just do 180 minus 111 or 180 minus 69 and wind up with 111 degrees. That's what's fun about math, is there's always more than one way to do it. This last one's a little interesting. It's not difficult, it's just you got to think a little more thoroughly. Angle DOC is 7x plus 15. Angle GOC is 3x plus 105. Right now, I can't do anything else. I don't know the measure of the whole angle. I don't have any information about ray OC, so I need one more piece of information. I will tell you that ray OC bisects angle DOG. Now that I have this piece of information, I can continue. You cannot assume that this is a bisector unless you are told it's a bisector. So I now know this is a bisector. That means these two angles are congruent or equal. Now I have to do some algebra. I know they are equal. I will take my first angle, DOC, and write it on the left side. I have my second angle, COG. I'll write that on my right side. They are equal because OC bisects the whole angle. Now we do some algebra. Pause the video, try and do the algebra on your own first, and then check my answers. So we wound up with a decimal this time. 4 doesn't go into 90 completely. 90 divided by 4. I didn't show you that step, but we know that when we have 4 times an x, we're going to divide. So 90 divided by 4, 4 goes into 9 twice. It has 1 left over. That means I have a 10 here. 4 goes into 10 twice with 2 left over, and then 20 divided by 4 is 5. The big question now is this: what is the measure of angle DOG? I have to substitute my number into my equation, or rather into my expression. I'm going to say 3 times 22.5 plus 105. 3 times 5 is 15, carry the 1, 7, 67.5 plus 105 degrees. So I'm going to keep my 0.5. 7 plus 5 is 12, carry the 1, 6 plus 1 is 7, it's 172 degrees. Some of you are upset right now. I'll explain what's happening here in just a moment. This angle now is 172.5 degrees. This angle, because it's a bisection, is the same, 172.5 degrees. Many of you are looking at this and saying, this does not look right. And you're correct. This angle that we are looking at, that was our example, does not mirror the data we got. So if it doesn't mirror the data we got, what we need to do is rewrite our angle. The question is, what is the measure of angle DOG? DOG is the whole angle. I need to add both of those together. So 172 plus 172, let's see, that's 4 and 4 and 3, and then we're going to add one more, so it's 345 degrees. Angle DOG should actually be 345 degrees. Can you draw an angle that's 345 degrees? Give it a shot. It's weird. If I go here, that's 90 degrees. If I go here, that's 180 degrees. If I go down here, that's 270 degrees. If I go all the way over, that's 360. So I need to be just a little bit short of 360 degrees. That is a 345 degree angle. We haven't seen anything like that in class yet. So that's why I'm showing it to you on your video, so you can be ready when you see it in class. If you have any questions, feel free to text me or email me, and bring this into class on Tuesday. Have a good weekend.